So you've made a plan detailing how you want things to go at the end of life, but estate planning, it doesn't have to be scary. It should make a lot of sense, as a matter of fact. Joining us now, attorney at law Rebecca Haynes. She's with the law firm of Jeffrey Burr here in town. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. And listen, we're not putting off this conversation any longer because there's so many of our viewers out there, including myself and my husband, who really need to look at making an estate plan. All right. It is something you need. And if you already have one, is it something you need to revisit?
Absolutely. So remember, these documents speak for you when you can no longer speak for yourself. And so, we recommend reviewing these every 3 to 5 years or anytime there is a major life event. So a marriage in your family, a divorce, a death, a birth, just because you want to make sure that your documents reflect your wishes, as they are. So reviewing them every now and again, yes, is very, very important.
It is very important, especially if you care. I mean, there's so many people watching who have worked so hard throughout their lives, and they have family members and organizations or charities that are connected with them, and they want to make sure that these details are in place, because when it comes down to it, these details in an estate plan, they're absolutely important, aren't they?
Yep, they make all the difference.
Yes, I've heard stories, many stories, Rebecca. Let's talk about an estate plan being effective for young adults. What about any folks just starting their families now? Does it matter? Can they put this off for a couple of decades? Or is it especially important if you have children?
Yes, it's important for all of those things. So for young adults or kids that are going off to college, when you turn 18, your parents are no longer your legal guardians. And so if you were to get into an accident, heaven forbid, having at least powers of attorney in place so that your parents or loved one or whoever you want to designate to serve in that capacity can act on your behalf if you're unable to. And a lot of times young people don't think about that kind of thing because you're young or off to college. And I mean, while an estate plan at that point might not be for the disposition of assets because you might not have any, the powers of attorney are really important. And then two, it's for, people with young children. If you want to be able to designate who the guardians of those children, would be if something were to happen to you versus having the state pick someone for you or having a family fight about who that person would be, having those designations in your documents is really important. And especially for, minors, the default rule is that any minor beneficiary would get their inheritance when they turned 18, and that's pretty young. And so you can build in guardrails, for that child's inheritance. So again, if you're not there, you can take care of them to make sure that they have a, productive life, based on what you leave them, maybe not get a check of any big dollar amount when you turn 18. Because I know if I got
Yep.
any, amount at 18, it'd probably be gone.
Oh
I might
boy.
have, yeah, an extra pair of shoes, but that would
Oh
be it.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, what you're talking about, it's really serious stuff. This is literally peace of mind, isn't it? When you can get all these choices set up and really secure things for your family. By the way, speaking of family and family dynamics, do you recommend sharing your estate plan? Let's talk about someone at retirement age here in Las Vegas. Sharing the details of your estate plan with other family members, is that necessary?
So you don't have to share the details, but if you just let a trusted family member know who the attorney was that helped you set up the estate plan or where they could find documents if something were to happen, that's the most important because, you can change these documents at any time. And so sometimes having multiple copies of, a document that's been changed multiple times can
Yep.
cause confusion. But if you just, again, let them know where to go in case something were to happen, then that's usually what I recommend.
Perfect. Rebecca Haynes, thank you so much for taking time this morning in your busy day over there at Jeffrey Burr. If you would like to connect with her and make some steps to finally getting that estate plan locked in, folks, head to jeffreyburr.com. You can also call the phone number that is right there on your screen.